Well, good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Michael B. Ross, and I would like to welcome you to the HBK High Performance Podcast. I hope that the sun is shining and the birds are chirping in your life, and I hope all your dreams are coming true. Before we get started today, as I always like to mention, if you hear one good thought, one good phrase, one good quote, or one good idea from this podcast today, I would ask you to put that thought, phrase, idea, or quote into absolute immediate action. It is the application of our education that makes the biggest difference in our world. And the last thing I want for anybody is for them to look on their life with regret. The research shows that over 85% of people look back on their life with significant regret. Number one regret of the dying is I did not live a life true to who I knew I should be. I instead lived my life based on the expectations of others. Most of the time when you're compelled, that comes from your gut. That's your intuition telling you you need to move forward. And your brain will tell you not to move forward because your mind is built for survival. So it is up to you to take action when you're compelled to quiet that voice in your mind and to let it know that everything's going to be all right. Well, today I am really, really excited. I have a very good friend of mine and partner who is on the call with us and on the podcast today. His name is Keith Veras. Keith, welcome to the podcast, my friend.
Thank you so much, Mike. It's a pleasure to be on here. I enjoy listening to it, and I'm honored to be on it today.
Well, Keith, I tell you what, I think today is going to be a real benefit for all of our listeners. Keith is a succession planning expert, and he focuses on helping his clients prepare their businesses to be sold, and also prepares them for transition, whether it be, second, third, fourth, fifth generation, sometimes sixth, seventh, eighth generation businesses. But Keith is very precise. He has great moral integrity and great character, and I'm just happy to call him partner and friend. So, Keith, if you don't mind, I just want to jump in. This is about you today and all the knowledge and wisdom that you can pass on to our clients. So if you don't mind, I love hearing people's stories. What I want to hear more about, I want our clients and potential clients to hear more about, is your story. How did you get to become a division leader and partner at HBK? Tell us kind of how it all unfolded.
Sure, and thanks for the kind words, Michael. I hope I can live up to it. So I first became a partner at HBK. And then I became a division leader. So I'll talk a little bit about how I became a partner, because I know you want to focus on some leadership issues today. And I'll just share a little bit of my story and how leadership may have played a role in my being able to get to partner first. So I've been with the firm in 2 months, it'll be 29 years. So almost 3 decades. I joined HBK right out of college, Erie, Pennsylvania, Mercyhurst University. Steve Jackson interviewed me. He was the chair of the executive committee at the time. So I had the chair of the executive committee coming on to our college campus and interviewing. That's how involved our partnership group is at all levels of bringing people into the firm. And I decided to join HBK and started in the Ohio office. And I started to thrive in the Ohio office. And I think that a big part of that was my willingness to accept opportunities that presented themselves both internally within the firm and externally in the community. And I also understood what the firm valued and what it is they were looking for in potential leaders. And my willingness to step into both internal opportunities, which may have been just taking the lead, on client scenarios or firm initiatives, those types of things internally, but also externally. Our firm takes great pride in making sure that our employees are valuable, considerate members of their community and actually impact the communities in which they live to make it a better place for all citizens. And I embraced that early on. And I was very involved in the community at very, varied organizations and levels. And this brought me close proximity with the people who were leaders of the community. One beautiful thing about being involved in your community is they're always, welcoming of those who would like to contribute to the community. So that presents a great opportunity, and it presented a great opportunity for me. So with my being able to be close to HBK leaders, because I was stepping into things that were offered to me, and community, I learned some great things: what to do, what not to do, what made good leaders, what made people follow the leaders, both inside the firm and in the community. And I was fortunate enough to grab hold of practice development. And what that means in our world is bringing business in to our firm. And that can mean for you in your business, increasing sales or whatever it is that you're doing as a young or old professional. And because I grabbed onto that and learned about that and understood that the firm valued that, I actually was able to be promoted to a manager position faster than anyone in the firm had been. And I want to point out, it wasn't because I was a genius. It wasn't because I was smarter than anyone in the firm. And I have to repeat that. I wasn't the smartest person. That's not why it happened. Although there is a certain technical ability that's required in our profession, what I did understand is in order to get to a leadership role, I needed to develop a book of clients of my own. Back then, it's a long time ago, it was a requirement of the principals or partners in that office to give you clients of theirs in order for you to be promoted. So I made it very easy for them in that they did not have to give me any clients. So when it came time to consider me for promotion, in addition to the good things that I was doing in other areas and in the community, they didn't have to give me any clients to promote me. So I understood that process, and it allowed me to gain that leadership role pretty quickly. So that's what led me to the management team at HBK. And my biggest opportunity that was presented to me was in 2002, after I'd been with the firm for 10 years. They asked me if I would like to help them open a Fort Myers office of HBK. And, that was something that was way outside of my comfort zone. I talked to my partner, who was a mentor of mine at the time, and I said, what's going to be my biggest challenge if I accept this challenge? And it would require me moving. I was married, I had 3 young children, and it was going to require us to move 2,000 miles away from our support system and our family. And, obviously I made that decision to come here, but I was told that the toughest thing I would deal with is HR. And dealing with and leading people was going to be the toughest thing. And I took that information and I started educating myself through reading and videos and learning leadership and how to interact with people and cultures, things that I know that you, Michael, are an expert on. So happy our firm decided to bring you in, because culture is pretty much a thread through everything. And that's something that I learned early on when I came down to Florida and started this office. And I'm very proud to say that the Fort Myers office of HBK has had a significant impact on Southwest Florida, specifically in Cape Coral and Fort Myers. We brought our philosophy down here and our culture down here, which is, come here. Yes, we're here to service clients, but let's get into the community. And I know for a fact that Cape Coral and Fort Myers have been impacted by HBK Southwest Florida, and is a better place for the citizens because we are here. And I'm very proud of that.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. I love that story, and I love what you said at the beginning about, you were just always looking for opportunity. You're keeping your eye out and you're willing to say yes to opportunity. I think that's so relevant. It's not, and you also talked about not being the smartest person, which I disagree with, because I think you're pretty darn smart. But
we have a lot of smart people. Yep.
Yeah, but the idea of, looking for opportunity and being a continual and voracious learner, how important that is to us in our careers. sometimes it's just a matter of staying and trying new things and risking a little bit. But I love your story because it's like, how many people would pick up their wife and 3 kids and move from everything to something brand new and unbeknownst, and there's all sorts of what ifs, what's going to happen? Oh no. But yeah. Wow, what a great story, and what a great testament of what could happen if you have good character and you're willing to take a risk. And I guess that segues into my next question, what's the greatest leadership lesson you've ever learned? That you could say, that thing that I learned at this stage of my life has stuck with me and I've never forgotten it. And that's one that I would pass on to everybody. Do you have one of those?
Yeah, well, and it dovetails nicely from your last question. And I realize I failed to answer the second part of your first question was, how did I become a leader of a new service line in HBK? Yeah. And the lesson that I learned, I learned lots of lessons over my career, but the one that's sticking with me now because it's fresh, 6 years ago, when we decided as a firm that we wanted to help our business owners and friends who were considering their exit strategies. And at the point in time, HBK was doing a wonderful job of helping those clients and friends look at the tax ramifications, consider how you might structure it. A little bit of financial planning expertise was brought to the table, but we weren't in a position to actually coordinate the process, to educate those business owners about the multiple options that they would have upon exit, because the vast majority of business owners are totally unaware of all of the options that they have for exiting their business. And we're in a position now, because we formed HBK Corporate Finance 6 years ago, and I made the decision to transfer my client base from the CPA firm clients that I had to a gentleman in my office, Michael DeLuca, who's doing a wonderful job with our clients. He's a rising star in our firm. So that I was very fortunate to have someone like him that would be in a position to help me transition those clients. So there was a leadership transfer there from me having that relationship with my entire client base, transitioning it over a 5-year period to Michael DeLuca. That was a lesson. But the biggest lesson that I learned, because I basically burned the ships in saying that I was going to take on this position as director of corporate finance, which was a new service offering that was somewhat foreign to many of my teammates. What I learned, and this is applicable across many things, parenting, I have 5 kids as well. So this is applicable across that. When you set out to do something, you always underestimate the amount of time, effort, and energy it's going to take to do what you think you're going to be able to accomplish. Now, I am in a financial services company or firm, and because of that, most of us are pretty good at math and statistics. So we'll say things like, hey, our firm and our extended network, we're touching 20,000 or more corporate clients. And if only 5% of those business owners are considering their exit strategy each year, and we can just get in front of 20% of them, and out of that 20%, we get 10% of them, and we should have 20 new clients a year that are coming through our certified exit planning process. But it doesn't work that way with just math. I mean, there is so much that needs to be done in the way of shift in culture, internal and external marketing, especially when you're starting something that the firm that's 70 years old had never done before. And, so it has taken way more time and effort and energy than I assumed from the beginning. My targets and goals came and went without being met. And that was very discouraging. And maybe more importantly, the thing that I learned was the only way I was going to fail is if I quit. If I said, this is it, I've tried this for long enough. The firm has been supporting me. There's some frustration about when some fruit is going to be seen. And if I would have quit, after 3 or 4 years, then I absolutely positively would have guaranteed failure because I would no longer be doing
Yep.
it. But pressing through that and allowing something to take the time that it was going to be required to take in the environment that we were in has shown to be, a great success for us and the right choice for us.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It's so funny. I teach on, vision and strategy. And it's funny. I say that all the time. I'm like, a visionary thinks that what requires a year should take 3 months, and we get frustrated
Right.
when it's but it's true. I mean, what a great lesson though is, it's the measure twice, cut once analogy, where it's like, make sure you really count the cost and the activities that you're going to need to be successful. And then, we can simply do the activities and put ourselves in a position to be successful. That's a great lesson, that we should really take time to focus on the actual work that it's going to take and what's required of us and count the cost. And you save yourself a lot of unnecessary heartache, I believe, when you do that. So that's a great lesson. What's it like? There's a lot of people that will never, ever come close to being a partner at a larger firm like HBK. If you look at the percentages, it's less than 1% of people who ever will be, a financial services partner. What's it like to lead a larger firm? HBK has about 650 total team members, and you're one of 72 total partners across the firm. What's that like, Keith? Tell the people what it's like to lead in a firm like this.
Well, as you may expect and probably have heard before, as the organizations that you work for or maybe are a leader in or aspire to become a leader in, the larger they are, sometimes the slower they may be to react and pivot to market changes and pivots. So there can be some level of frustration at times, but I think the trade-off for that inability to maybe be as quick reacting as someone who has, a sole practitioner who has 3 employees and they're able to make decisions that morning on what they're doing that afternoon. So what you lose there is you gain in having what, like Michael said, 600 or more professionals who I'm able to share my vision with, who are serving clients of the firm who I firmly believe need to hear about the services that yourself and I and some of my other partners who are leading new service lines need to hear about. And it's not so we can sell them something. It's not about selling. It's about providing something that they need and helping them understand why they need it. I never liked the term I can sell snow to Eskimos, because Eskimos don't need snow. So that's not really something that's moral to me. I'm interested in having passion for the service that we provide as a firm, understanding it and understanding how it is going to make our clients' lives better. And when you firmly believe that, you're never selling anyone anything. You're sharing with them solutions to problems and concerns that they have. So because I work for a large organization, I am able to reach out to hundreds of other thoughtful professionals and team members that we have that have visions and input of their own from all their own experiences. And I can learn from them, and hopefully they can learn from me. And not one of us has to be an expert on everything, like you might be if you're a sole practitioner or in a small firm. When you're in a large firm, you just need to know who the experts are. You need to develop those internal relationships so that you understand cues from clients and potential clients that are expressing some of the things that keep them up at night, some of the things they're concerned about. I need to connect you with Mike Ross, or I need to connect you with Amy Dalen, who is the chair of our tax department. The list goes on, where I have an amazing network of brilliant people that I can bring to the table to anybody I meet. I truly believe that anytime I go out and I'm meeting people at an event or out in public, HBK, when it comes to a financial services company, we are really in a position to help them with just about anything that they would mention. And that's an unbelievable thing that we have, and that the young professionals that are coming into our firm have. They have an unbelievable network immediately that makes them very valuable in their community immediately, because they know who to call and who to bring in. They're not out there trying to do it on their own. I think it's just amazingly powerful. That's the biggest plus I see, with a big organization like HBK.
That's awesome. I can't remember who said this, but as you were talking in the beginning, I was thinking about this quote that you travel much faster alone, but it's not as fun, right? And so,
or safe.
Things are a little, right. It's a little slower when you're traveling towards something with a lot of people. But the other thing is, if you do lock arms, if you join together, you can accelerate everyone's success. And you're absolutely right. As someone who was a solopreneur for almost 11 years, I had to do a little bit of everything. Now, I tried to specialize as much as possible, but it is nearly impossible to do that. But being a part of a firm, you get to specialize, but you also get the pleasure of giving other people work that's in a zone that they love. Doing something you really love to do has there's a lot of research on this as well. When someone's passionate about something, their productivity rate goes up by over 40%. Because you can't slow a person down who's passionate about something. So in a firm like this, we're able to specialize and like you said, really resolve client problems, resolve their deficiency so they can sleep better at night. That's so good, Keith. I appreciate that. Now let's talk about your specialization. Because I really think it's important for people to hear why succession planning and transition planning is so important. I mean, give us your passion behind it. Why do you think it's so important, and what do people need to know about transition planning that you can help them with?
Yeah, well, and you're going to be able to see the relationship to other leadership positions. Excuse me. Yeah, you're going to be able to see the transition to other leadership positions as well. But yes, to frame it for us here, and specifically for what I do, I'll talk about business owners who are by definition leaders and who have to consider their ultimate transition, whether that transition comes from unexpected means, whether there's a divorce, a disease, disability, just dissension, uncontrollable things that require you to make a transition in haste, or it's one that you see coming down the road and you have some ideas about how that's going to go. Transition at the leadership level is always very important to everyone it's affecting. And you can see it on national news when we have large publicly traded companies and the head of the company is going to be it's national news. And who's this new guy and what's going to change and what? Well, that happens in small family-owned businesses as well. Specifically, if you have dad and mom transitioning to son and daughter, a lot of people have eyeballs, on that process and are very interested in how that's going to go. Also, if that business owner doesn't have an internal transition plan and needs to go outside and find someone who might buy this family business, that brings a lot of other questions and concerns inside of customer bases, inside their client base, their community, their suppliers. There's all kinds of things that are going to be impacted when that business owner decides to make that transition. And what we're doing is trying to get in on the front end with our business owners, talk to them and understand the goals that they have, what their current expectations are. Many of our business owners are finding out that 30, 40 years ago when they started the business, they thought that their children might step up and take over the business. And they're finding out that their children have other desires. They may not have wanted to work 7 days a week. They may not want to bend metal for a living. They have other dreams and desires of their own, or they got married and they're following a spouse, somewhere else in the country. And they may not be as available to help mom and dad transition as they thought. So we're making sure that our clients understand that there is a process that they can follow to get educated about what all of their options are, and we can show them a path for varying options that may or may not meet their expectations. Another beautiful aspect of being in a large firm that has a financial services arm and a wealth advisory arm is that we have experts that are also our team members who can talk to these business owners, do a comprehensive financial plan, and let them know that they can, in fact, sell their business now for this price and these terms, or no, you can't. And I'm glad that we're going through this process so that you know that you can't. But here are the value drivers of your business. Here's what you need to get from your business in order to make your financial plan work. And you can either get that business to a value that's acceptable to you that lets your plan work, or you can change some of the things that you thought you were going to do in retirement. Certainly, there's two sides of things in any budget. You increase the income or you reduce the expenses. And when we're wishing and dreaming for retirement, we have the ability to quantify those wishes and dreams for our clients. And those business owners are going to be able to see, what do I need to get? What does life look like after I sell my business? And is it going to work for our family if we sell it internally? Or do we need to sell it externally because internally is not going to work? We're just having discussions that business owners are really desirous of having, but they have very few people they can talk to about this because it's so private and confidential. They haven't really talked about. It's kind of like death, like you mentioned earlier when we were talking, that people don't like to talk about death, even though everyone knows it's inevitable. And business owners are very similar. They've been nothing but passionate and driving everything that they have into this business. Thinking about them actually stepping away is something they don't have a lot of people to talk to about. And we put ourselves in the position to have thoughtful conversations, to field questions that these business owners have that we've heard numerous times from other business owners, and we can share with them how that business owner navigated their specific situation and how it might answer some of the questions that they have through the process. So a business owner transitioning is critical. And a lot of times business owners, maybe it's a family business that has their family name on it, and they want to make sure that that family name lives on and it's carried on by someone that they trust and like. And same with their employees and their client base who they may become friends with. They care for what they're leaving behind. And that transition is something that they do truly care about. It's not strictly financial. It's very emotional. There's a lot of relationships that are intermingled that need to be sorted out. And I know, Michael, that's where you can come in and help when there's intergenerational transfers or external transfers. It's getting in, understanding the culture, helping all sides understand the culture and how things can work out best so that everyone wins at the end of the day. Another reason it's very important for a business owner to have a good transition is many times the sale process requires that new company to be successful and continue on to make sure that the selling owner gets paid over time. They can't have the business fail. They can't have, the new owners come in and, just ruin their legacy and cause a problem where they either have to come back in and take over the business, which they didn't want to do. They're already in Florida golfing with me, right? They don't want to go back up to Wisconsin and run a business again, right? So they want to make sure that this is going to work. So again, that's just a critical factor in the transition process to understand pitfalls that might be out there. And we help them see those and try to mitigate those, on the front end.
That's fantastic. And Keith, some of my story, and that I've sold a business before, and and I will tell you, for many reasons, and not all bad, but I did not get the value out of the business that I could have. And you and I talked about it, and as I was expressing things with you, the more I've talked to you, the more I said, well, I wish I would have had you to talk to during that transition process, just to bounce things off of. What would you tell? So I can hear people, because I'm a small business owner too. What would you tell somebody who's going, well, I'd love to talk to Keith, but I'm afraid if I talk to him, it's going to cost me $1,000, or 1,500 or 2,500 bucks just to talk to him. And that's what often business owners do is they counting costs before they even know what it costs, and so they just don't do it. Or they do so many things already. They think I can do this well. I'm sure I can figure it out. They watch a couple of YouTube videos and now they're an expert. But what would you tell somebody who was like me and is thinking about transitioning from one or their main business, and they feel like they want to talk to you, but they're a little scared of the ticket price up front? What would you tell somebody like that?
Sure. Well, thankfully, in the environment that we're in, there is no upfront ticket price to talk to me. And this is not unique. I mean, there's plenty of times people have heard you get a no obligation consultation. And in my case, it's not limited to half an hour or an hour. I tell people that I'm talking with friends and clients of the firm in the initial conversations that we're having. We're just exploring. I'm understanding your business. I'm understanding what it is that you want to do, and helping you understand all of the options that you might have. I mean, I'm giving value. I'm going to continue to give value in the hopes to build that goodwill. So if there comes a time when they want to execute an exit strategy or start going down the path of understanding what that is, and we're making those decisions after we've already built a relationship. You trust me. I understand your business. I've provided value, and we can move forward when you're ready and you fully understand, what the cost implications are, how that benefits you, because, we're providing, I firmly believe that the service that we provide here pays for itself in magnitudes of what we charge for what we're doing. Because this is the most significant, potentially, and arguably most times, it is the most significant financial transaction our clients and friends will ever have. They are stepping away from, 80% of their net worth, right, to go into retirement, or they're going to try a new business depending on their age or whatever the case may be. This is a significant transaction. There's going to be significant sophistication on the other side of the table in the buyers that are coming to talk to them. They may have done it before. They know how it works, and they'd like nothing more than to directly one-on-one deal with our client and run them down, the path that they want to run down. But what we're doing is we're building leverage on the side of our client by educating them and by helping them understand the process that we would go through on their behalf to make sure that we bring the leverage on their side of the table. This is a time-tested process. We leverage our strategic partners who are investment bankers and high-end business brokers who have become partners of our firm, essentially like external partners. And we've been working with them for, over 5 years now, and they've proven to us to work consultatively with our clients, just like I mentioned that I do. They will get on the phone with me, with prospective clients, and have conversations over a period of years without the client being charged anything, because we're building that goodwill, and we're there for our clients of HBK. And potential new clients. I mean, we're here to make sure our clients have the best result that they can have, because like I said, many times they're good friends of the firm. We may have helped them form their business. We've watched them put their kids through college. Now we're talking to them about what they're going to do after the business. We don't want to pass that off to somebody who knows how they're going to treat our client. And it would just be a shame in many instances to have our clients leave and go have someone else help them execute this significant transaction. No one's ever going to care for them as much as we do because we have that relationship. Yeah.
And I think that's so important. And Keith, I want to ask you to tell people how they can get a hold of you. And then, I want to end today by getting some sage advice from you for younger up and coming leaders. But how can people get a hold of you? So if someone's on this today and they're listening, they're like, my gosh, I need to talk to Keith. How do they either call you or email you?
Sure. So I'm located in the Fort Myers office of HBK, 239-482-5522. And I'll even give you my cell phone, which is 239-560-6802. You can find me on the website of either hbkcpa.com or hbkswealth.com. I'm involved in both of those organizations. You can certainly reach out to Mike, and he knows where I am because we're partners. So my email address is my first initial last name, K Veres, V as in Victor, ERES, at hbkswealth.com. So you should never hesitate to reach out to me because, like we said, there's no charge to do it, and I'm talking with business owners all the time, not only about selling, even though that is 95% of the time that I'm talking with them, but some of our clients are looking at making acquisitions too, and we're certainly in a position to help them, with that process.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you from experience, I've left hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table by not reaching out to somebody like Keith. And, and look, you just don't want to do that. You don't want to leave money on the table if you don't have to.
No.
So reach out to Keith and listen to him. He's years of experience, and he's going to take really good care of you. You can take my word for it. So Keith.
Yes.
Let's pretend we have one of the groups. I know you and I both love to talk to and reach out to is young men and women who are on their journey. They're getting started in their leadership journey. And, I love the statement by Sir Isaac Newton, who said, "We're standing on the shoulders of giants. Shame on us if we don't make the previous generation ceiling our floor." Tell this next generation of up-and-coming leaders, give them some wisdom. Tell them some leadership advice today of what you would recommend that they start to do immediately so that they can accelerate their success and make our ceiling their floor.
Sure. So as it relates to becoming a leader in whatever, chosen profession that is, certainly there's hard work, there's being a great team member, and not being afraid to reach out when there are opportunities that are presented to you, because frankly, leaders are willing to take on things that others simply aren't willing to take on. Not everyone is meant to be a leader, and not everyone has to be a leader. It's important for the young individuals to, like I said, get involved in the community, choose something in the community that you're passionate about. Because those that are already involved in that organization and are also passionate about that organization are going to recognize the authenticity that you bring. And it's going to bring instant rapport with those people that happen to have the same passion for that organization. So external to wherever it is that you work, you have easy ways to plug yourself in to organizations and groups in the community that welcome potential leaders of all ages. They don't just want, all the old people out there volunteering and doing everything. They want to hear from the fresh, young perspectives that our young leaders have. I mean, they bring tremendous, I've been involved in lots of nonprofit organizations, and we love it when the young leaders come in and ask us the questions that need to be asked, because we've been doing things for so long that we haven't asked the right questions in a long time. And so their voices are really needed and welcomed. So they first and foremost need to understand the value, that they're bringing to the table by stepping out. What they can do if they're not, gung-ho to be leaders initially, plug yourself into a team that is going to appreciate what it is that you bring to the team, that needs it, and that it's something that you flourish at, and it's going to allow you to develop and make that team better. And as that happens, you're going to gain that confidence because you're in your element. Staying in your element is always critical in leadership. I think the people that rise to leadership, they are continuously learning. They're always looking to improve themselves. They're looking to improve others. They're looking to improve their environment. They're good team players. And even if they set out to be, I just want to be a cog in the wheel, and I just want to be the best this that I can be, and I have no desire for leadership. The people who are best at those things, you will find, get opportunities to be leaders because they're attractive people. I mean, people can see the passion that they have, see what they bring to the table, and in whatever it is that you're doing. If you do it with, the gusto and the passion, you're going to get yourself in a place where you're either comfortable where you are and you're thriving where you are. But if you want leadership opportunities down the road, maybe you don't want them now, you don't have the confidence now. If you follow that kind of path, they're going to present themselves to you because you will be recognized both inside your organization and certainly in the community.
That's fantastic. I hope, well, if you're driving, please don't take notes, but I hope that you are taking at least mental notes. And if any of you are out there and you want to follow up with Keith on this, please just email him at kveres, VERES, at hbkswealth.com, and he'll be happy to follow up with you. I do always recommend getting a mentor, someone you can reach out to and just ask questions. Emails about success and about leadership may be the thing that takes you from, on a sliding scale of 10, from a 6 to an 8. One idea sometimes changes the world, and nothing is more powerful than an idea whose time has come. So make sure you reach out. But Keith, this time has been so valuable, I know, for me and
I've enjoyed
for
it, yeah.
our listeners. And I appreciate you coming on to the HBK High Performance Podcast. And I do hope that lots of people reach out and you help resolve some issues for some potential clients out there who are fledgling to know what to do in their transition. So thank you so much for your leadership advice and your professional advice as well. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you for the kind words, Mike. And this was great. And I'm so happy to have been on your podcast. It's an honor.
Awesome. Well, everybody, I thank you again for tuning in. And as always, I look forward to talking to you next time on the HBK High Performance Podcast.